Hey everyone, and welcome. Today we are going to tackle two of the trickiest areas in English. First, when to use the word the with names, and second, how to spot the main idea in a paragraph in like 2 seconds flat. Seriously, getting these down will be a huge boost for your confidence. So let's dive right in. Right off the bat, have a look at this sentence. Something about it just feels wrong, right? This is an incredibly common mistake, one that even really advanced learners make all the time. But trust me, by the end of this, you'll know exactly why it's wrong, and you'll be able to spot this kind of error from a mile away. So here's our game plan. First up, we're going to solve the article puzzle, breaking down when you use the and when you just don't. Then we're shifting gears to a massive reading skill, finding the main idea. I'll even give you a proven strategy that you can use on your very next exam. It's basically a 2-for-1 masterclass. Okay, so here's the big question, right? Why do we say the United States, but just Canada? Or the Pacific Ocean, but just Lake Superior? It feels totally random sometimes, but I promise you, it's not. It's really just a puzzle, and once you see the patterns, all the pieces start to click into place. The first and honestly the biggest rule is this. If a name works like a unique label, a one-of-a-kind name tag, it usually doesn't need an article. Think of it like your name. You wouldn't say, I saw the David. You just say, I saw David. It's the same exact logic for a ton of places and brands. So the key idea is that all of these work as very specific, unique names. We don't need to say which Paris or which Times Square we're talking about, because there's really only one. This holds true for most countries and cities, streets, parks, and airports. And it's the same for companies like Google or places with that little possessive S, like McDonald's. The name itself is already doing all the heavy lifting. In this example just makes it all so clear. Mount Everest? That's one single, unique mountain. It's a label. But the Himalayas? Well, that's a whole collection of mountains, a group. So English uses the to signal that we're talking about a plural or a collective thing. It's a simple rule. One peak, no article. A whole range of them? Use the. Okay, so what about the flip side? When do we absolutely have to use the? Well, just like before, it's not random at all. There are some really clear and predictable patterns here too. Let's break them down. Okay, check this out, because this is probably the most powerful little trick of them all. See that tiny word of? When you say Oxford University, that's just a name, a label. But when you say the University of Oxford, the whole structure changes. It becomes a description. And that little word of almost always forces you to use the. Think about it. The Bank of England, the Museum of Modern Art. It's a fantastic shortcut to remember. And here are the other big categories to watch for. Rivers, seas, and oceans, they always get the. Deserts and groups of islands, just like mountain ranges, are collections, so they get the too. And you'll almost always see it with public places like museums, major organizations like the United Nations, and famous newspapers like The Times. I love this because it just nails the most important point. The very same word can follow different rules depending on what you mean. I ordered from Amazon is perfect. It's a company name. I sailed on the Amazon is also perfect because it's a river. So it's not the word itself, but the context that tells you what to do. All right, so we've seen how tiny words like the can totally change the meaning. Now let's zoom out from the sentence level to the whole paragraph. We're going to talk about another crucial skill, how to find the main idea fast. This is all about finding something called the topic sentence, and it is an absolute game changer for exams and just reading in general. So what even is a topic sentence? Well, put simply, it's the one sentence that answers the question, what is this entire paragraph really about? It's the core idea, the summary. You can think of it as the paragraph's little headline. All the other sentences are just there to back it up. And here is the best part. You don't have to hunt for it randomly. A whopping 70% of the time, the topic sentence is the very first sentence of the paragraph. It makes sense, right? Writers usually tell you their point and then they prove it. Yeah, sometimes it's at the end, kind of like a summary, but knowing to look at the start first, that is a massive head start. So how do we take this knowledge and turn it into a real strategy, especially for those super annoying match the heading to the paragraph questions you always see on exams? Well, I'm going to give you a dead simple 6-step plan that just plain works. Okay, here's the battle plan. Step 1, always read the headings first. That way you know what you're looking for. 2, read the whole paragraph. Don't let just the first sentence fool you. 3, and this is so important, summarize the main point in your own words before you look at the choices again. This stops you from getting tricked. 4, get rid of the obvious wrong answers. The ones that only match one tiny detail. 5, look closely at words like adjectives and adverbs. They often carry the real feeling or opinion of the paragraph. And finally, step 6, remember that exams love to paraphrase. They'll almost never use the exact same words.
So let's wrap this all up. What's the big takeaway here? What should you remember from all of this? Well, it's about changing how you think about learning English. It is not about memorizing a million different rules that don't make sense.
The most important thing to realize is this. English isn't just a random mess of exceptions. It is a system. It's built on logic and patterns. Whether you're realizing that a single mountain is different from a mountain range, or that the main idea is usually at the start of a paragraph, once you start seeing the system behind it all, you can navigate it with so much more confidence. So now you have a system for articles and a strategy for finding the main idea. What's next? What's that one English rule that always gets you? Let us know, and hey, maybe we'll break it down in our next explainer. Thanks for tuning in.